It was a typical Saturday at Burger King. Kids burst through the door, filling the room with noise and laughter. Timmy, smaller and quieter, stood out as an easy target. A large man, Sam, sat in a corner booth, unnoticed but observant. As the kids ordered, Sam's eyes never left them. He had seen things like this all the time, but he wasn't going to let it happen, not on his watch. Jake, the ringleader, smirked at Timmy. "Hey, Tiny Tim, got lost on the way to the kiddie park?" The others laughed. Timmy shrank back, cheeks flushing. Most customers glanced up but quickly returned to their meals. Behind the counter, the employees pretended not to notice. Sam watched intently, a plan forming as the scene unfolded. But before we start our story, smash the like button. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notifications bell so you won't miss any new stories. Timmy was 12, but his small frame often made him look younger. He dreamed of becoming a scientist and found solace in the library, where he devoured books on science and technology. At home, his parents were loving but often busy. His father was an engineer, his mother a nurse. Timmy spent most of his time reading or doing research. His room overflowed with science kits and posters of Albert Einstein and Marie Curie. School was hard. His size made him a target, and his quiet nature left him isolated. He found comfort in his academic achievements, but he longed for acceptance. The library became his sanctuary. Mrs. Reeves, the librarian, encouraged his curiosity. One day, a flyer for the school science fair caught his eye. He rushed home. "Mom, Dad, I want to enter the science fair." They were thrilled and promised their support. Timmy spent weeks building a detailed model of the solar system. He worked tirelessly in the school science lab, painting planets and researching space. Lost in concentration, he didn't notice Jake and his friends spying from the hallway. Needing a break, Timmy stepped out. The moment he left, Jake and his crew slipped in. "Let's see how he likes this," Jake sneered. They smashed the model and scattered the pieces. Satisfied, they slipped away laughing. Timmy returned moments later. His heart sank at the sight. He dropped to his knees, tears forming as he gathered the wreckage. Mrs. Reeves found him there. "Oh, Timmy," she whispered, pulling him into a hug. "We'll figure something out," she promised, though Timmy felt hopeless. On the day of the science fair, Timmy sat at an empty table, his heart heavy with disappointment. He watched as other students proudly displayed their projects, the judges moving from table to table. Jake and his friends smirked at him from across the room. Timmy tried to hold back tears, feeling more alone than ever. The bullying worsened. Jake and his friends took every opportunity to torment him. "Where's your science project, Tiny Tim?" they sneered. Despite trying to stay strong, Timmy's spirit began to break. He didn't know the bullying would even continue outside of school. At home, Timmy hid his pain. His parents, busy with work, noticed his quietness but didn't press. He buried himself in books, retreating to the world of science. One afternoon, after a particularly cruel encounter, Timmy fled to the library. Mrs. Reeves found him in tears. "Timmy, you can't let them win," she said softly. "You're stronger than you think." Her words sparked something in him. He wished he were taller, stronger, but more than anything, he wanted a way to fight back. One Saturday, Timmy visited the city library alone. His parents trusted him to handle himself. "Call us if you need anything," his mother said as he left. Timmy loved exploring the city and being surrounded by books. The library was his haven. He spent hours reading about the universe. As the sun began to set, hunger set in. He decided to treat himself to Burger King. He walked into the restaurant, the smell of burgers making his stomach growl. After ordering a meal, he found a quiet corner and pulled out a library book while waiting for his food. Moments later, the lady from the counter brought his tray. Just as he was about to enjoy his burger, the door swung open. Jake and his friends walked in. Timmy's heart sank. He considered sneaking out, but it was too late. Jake spotted him. "Well, look who it is," he sneered. They surrounded his table. "What are you doing here all alone, Tiny Tim?" Jake mocked. Timmy tried to stay calm. "Just having lunch," he said. "Looks like you need some company," one of them said, knocking over his milkshake. It spilled across the table. They laughed. "Oops, my bad," Jake said, pretending it was an accident. They mocked his size and intelligence. Trying to leave, Timmy stood, but Jake shoved him back into the booth. "Where do you think you're going, Tiny Tim?" he said. Timmy reached for his books, but a bully kicked them away. "What are all these nerd books?" one said. "No girl's ever gonna want a geek like you." Timmy looked at his books scattered on the floor. Why was he being treated like this? All he wanted was peace. "Gonna cry, geek?" Jake mocked. Timmy held back tears. He scanned the room, hoping someone would help, but everyone avoided his gaze. He remembered Mrs. Reeves's words and tried to stand his ground, but fear froze him. He didn't know what more they were capable of. He felt more alone than ever, trapped by the relentless bullying. When was it ever going to end? The bullies showed no signs of stopping. They hurled insults and shoved Timmy back into the booth anytime he tried to move. "Bet you think you're so smart, huh, super nerd?" one spat. Timmy clenched his fists, anger and humiliation boiling inside. He tried to stay calm, reminding himself of the support he had at home and school. But it was hard. What the bullies didn't know was that someone had been watching the entire time. Sam had come in just 30 minutes earlier, craving something heartier than the salad his wife had packed. He wasn't expecting anything unusual, just a quick meal before heading back to work. But fate had other plans. Sam had become an unwitting guardian, a quiet observer to a cruel scene. The Burger King, usually a cheerful stop for lunch, had turned into a battleground of bullying. He watched the group of kids taunting the boy who looked like he carried the weight of the world on his small frame. With each push and cruel taunt, Timmy's spirit weakened. Sam's brow furrowed as he watched from his corner booth. He hadn't planned on stepping into drama, but something stirred in him, a protective instinct born of past memories. The turning point came when the ringleader pushed Timmy too far. That moment was all it took. Sam stood, unnoticed by the bullies, his eyes locked on the one who had gone too far. He didn't want to escalate things right away. If he could reach the boy with words first, that would be enough. Then, his chance came. The ringleader stepped outside alone. Sam followed, walking slowly, choosing his words before even reaching the door. He wasn't there to intimidate, only to help the boy see what he was doing. Outside, the autumn wind brushed Sam's face. The bully leaned against the wall, trying to look casual. Sam noticed the act didn't quite reach his eyes. Maybe there was more behind the behavior, but it didn't excuse it. Sam approached calmly, keeping his voice level. "Hey, can we talk for a minute?" The boy turned, startled. His posture stiffened, but he didn't run. There was curiosity in his eyes, mixed with wariness. "I saw what happened in there," Sam said gently. "Picking on someone like that, it's not right." The boy puffed his chest, defensive. But as Sam spoke with quiet authority, that facade began to crack. His stance softened. His eyes fell. Sam continued, his tone sincere. "You're better than this. You've got strength, but real strength is lifting others up, not tearing them down." The words hung in the air. The boy looked away, silent. I didn't think," he muttered at last. His voice barely rose above a whisper. "That's just it," Sam said softly. "It's important to think. You've got influence. Why not use it to do something good?" A moment passed, quiet but heavy with meaning. Maybe, just maybe, Sam's words had found a place to land. A moment passed in silence, the bully contemplating, digesting the weight of the conversation. Finally, he gave a slight nod. Sam stood, offering a parting message. "Everyone makes mistakes, but it's what we do afterward that defines us." As Sam returned inside, he felt a glimmer of hope. Maybe this was a turning point, but things didn't unfold the way he had hoped. A few minutes later, the bully rejoined his friends. "Hey guys, maybe we should go?" Jake suggested, but his friends weren't ready to stop. "Nah, man, this is just getting started." Sam's heart sank as he watched the boy slip back into old habits under peer pressure. It was clear his earlier words hadn't stuck. One bully picked up Timmy's astronomy book and flipped through it mockingly. "Stars and planets? "Who cares?" he scoffed, tossing it aside. Timmy watched in anguish as his cherished book hit the floor. The Burger King staff did nothing, but Sam was still watching, and he'd had enough. Just as Timmy hit his breaking point, Sam stood, his booming voice cut through the chaos. "Enough!" He marched over, commanding presence, silencing the room. "Leave him alone," he said. "Now." Timmy looked up, stunned. Was someone finally standing up for him? Jake hesitated. "We're just having fun." "This isn't fun, it's bullying," Sam replied. "And it ends now." The bullies faltered. Timmy watched in awe. For the first time, someone was standing between him and his tormentors. Jake tried to fight back. "Who do you think you are?" Sam remained calm. "Someone who won't let this continue, and I'm not the only one." Around the restaurant, murmurs of support turned to voices. "Leave the kid alone!" someone yelled. "Get out of here!" another added. Jake's confidence cracked. The crowd was against them. Sam stepped closer. "Touch this kid again and I'll call the police!" Jake's bravado wavered. "You think you're so tough," he muttered, but his edge was gone. His friends tugged at his sleeve. "Let's go. This isn't worth it." Jake scanned the room. Eyes watched him, unflinching. He had no power here. With a final glare, he turned. "Fine. Whatever." He shoved his hands in his pockets and stormed out. His crew followed. The restaurant let out a collective sigh. The bullies were gone, for now. Timmy slowly gathered his books, still shaken. Sam turned to him. "Thank you," Timmy said, voice soft but sincere. Sam nodded with a warm smile. "You did great, kid. Remember, there are people who will stand up for you, but one day you'll need to stand up for yourself too." The other patrons nodded in agreement, offering Timmy supportive smiles and words of encouragement. As Timmy walked home, he felt a mix of emotions. The fear and humiliation from the bullying lingered, but the support from Sam and the other patrons gave him hope. He realized that standing up to bullies was not just his fight. There were others willing to help. Timmy felt a renewed sense of determination to not let the bully's actions define him or deter him from his goals. When Timmy got home, he shared the events of the day with his parents. They were both proud and concerned. "We're glad you're okay," his mother said, hugging him tightly. With a new sense of confidence, Timmy decided to focus on his strengths. He threw himself into his studies and his science projects, using them as an outlet for his creativity and intelligence. He also began to reach out more to his classmates, slowly building friendships and support networks. Mr. Rodriguez, Timmy's science teacher, continued to mentor Timmy, providing guidance and encouragement. He introduced Timmy to more advanced scientific concepts and experiments, helping him prepare for future science fairs and competitions. Timmy realized that his journey had not only been about overcoming bullying, but also about discovering his own strength and potential. He had grown from a small, timid boy into a confident and determined young man. Timmy knew that his future was bright, and he was ready to embrace it with all the passion and determination he had. His story was one of resilience and hope, inspiring others to believe in themselves and pursue their dreams.